In a city where neon lights flicker and dreams are woven from dazzling garments, Emma stood before the mirror, her heart racing. Today was not just an ordinary day. It was the day she would step out of the shadows of her past, where lies and betrayal had once held her captive. As she gazed into the mirror, the reflection staring back was not just a young woman with burning aspirations, but a woman who had learned to transform pain into power. With every stitch in her collection, Emma was not merely creating fashion, she was weaving stories of resilience, of women who had been hurt but refused to give up. As the music began to swell and the stage lights started to shine, Emma knew this was the moment she had been waiting for. She was not just a designer, she was a storyteller and inspiration, and today she would make the world listen. Could she turn her pain into strength and inspire others to do the same? Join Emma on her journey, where each step on the runway is not just a stride in her career, but a leap into the future she truly deserves. Emma Carter stood in front of her full-length mirror, adjusting the delicate lace of her wedding dress. At 28, she was a rising star in the fashion industry, known for her innovative designs that blended elegance with a modern twist. Today was supposed to be the happiest day of her life, marrying Jake Thompson, a charismatic 30-year-old startup CEO who had swept her off her feet with his charm and ambition. They had been together for 2 years, and Emma had envisioned a future filled with love, success, and shared dreams. As she applied the final touches of makeup, her younger sister Lily burst into the room, her excitement palpable. "Emma, you look stunning. Jake is going to be blown away," Lily exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with admiration. Emma smiled, grateful for her sister's unwavering support. Lily had always been her confidant, helping her navigate the ups and downs of life, especially in the competitive world of fashion. But as Emma gazed at her reflection, a flicker of doubt crept into her mind. She had always trusted Jake, but a nagging feeling lingered in the back of her mind. Was everything truly as perfect as it seemed? Shaking off the thought, she reminded herself of the love they shared and the life they were about to build together. Little did Emma know that fate had other plans. That very night, as she prepared for her wedding, she would overhear a conversation that would shatter her world and change the course of her life forever. The night before the wedding, Emma decided to take a break from the chaos of last-minute preparations. She slipped into a comfortable outfit and headed to a nearby bar where Jake and his friends were celebrating his last night as a bachelor. She had planned to surprise him with a toast, but as she approached the entrance, she overheard their laughter spilling out into the night. "Come on, man, you can't be serious about settling down with Emma," she heard Jake's best friend Mark Reynolds say, his voice dripping with disbelief. Emma paused, her heart racing. She had always liked Mark, but something about his tone made her uneasy. "Well, not. She's perfect on paper," Jake replied, his voice slightly slurred from the drinks. "But let's be real. She's just a stepping stone until I find someone who can really help me take my career to the next level. You know how it is." Emma felt as if the ground had been pulled from beneath her. She stood frozen, clutching her phone tightly, the screen illuminating her pale face. The laughter continued, but all she could hear were Jake's words echoing in her mind. Just a stepping stone. The betrayal cut deeper than any knife. "Her family connections are great for networking, and she's devoted to me," Jake continued, oblivious to the devastation he was causing. "But I need someone who can really elevate my status. You know how cutthroat this industry is." Emma's heart sank as she processed the implications of his words. All the late-night conversations, the dreams they had shared, the plans for their future. It all felt like a carefully constructed facade. She turned away from the door, her mind racing. How could he say such things? How could he betray her trust so easily? Instead of confronting him right then, Emma decided to leave. She walked home in a daze, her mind swirling with disbelief and anger. Once inside her apartment, she opened her laptop and began to dig into Jake's life. As his fiancée, she had access to his business dealings, and she felt a surge of determination. If he thought he could play her for a fool, he was sorely mistaken. For hours, Emma scoured through emails, financial records, and business plans. The more she uncovered, the more her resolve hardened. Jake had been siphoning funds from his startup, using company money for personal investments. And even worse, he had been in contact with potential investors under false pretenses. It was all there, laid out in black and white, and she knew she had to act. As the sun began to rise, Emma felt a strange calm wash over her. She had transformed her heartbreak into a plan. Tomorrow, on what was supposed to be her wedding day, she would expose Jake for who he truly was. She would not walk down the aisle as a bride, but as a woman ready to reclaim her power and her truth. With a heavy heart but a clear mind, Emma tucked the evidence she had gathered into a cream-colored envelope, ready to unveil the truth that would shatter Jake's world. She was no longer just a bride. She was a force to be reckoned with. The morning of the wedding dawned with an unsettling serenity. Emma stood in front of the mirror, applying her makeup with steady hands, a stark contrast to the excitement she had imagined feeling on this day. Instead of butterflies in her stomach, she felt a fierce determination. The envelope containing the evidence of Jake's deceit lay hidden in the pocket of her wedding dress, a reminder of her purpose. As she prepared, her sister Lily burst into the room, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "Emma, the flowers just arrived. They're absolutely beautiful," Lily exclaimed, holding up a bouquet of white peonies and blush roses. Emma forced a smile, her heart heavy with the weight of what was to come. "Thanks, Lily. They're perfect," Emma replied, her voice steady despite the storm raging inside her. She caught a glimpse of her reflection. The woman staring back at her was no longer the naive bride she had been just a day before. This woman wore her wedding dress like armor, her red lipstick a bold statement of defiance. As the hours passed, Emma felt the anticipation build within her. Every ping from her phone sent a rush of adrenaline through her veins, not from pre-wedding jitters, but from the thrill of what she was about to do. Her private investigator had promised to send final confirmations by noon, and at 11:43 a.m. the text arrived. "Additional evidence secured. The reporter is in position." Emma excused herself to the bathroom, her heart racing. She took a deep breath, clutching her phone tightly as she reviewed the final pieces of evidence. Screenshots confirmed everything: Jake's offshore accounts, the diverted company funds, and the emails detailing his plans to use her connections for his gain. The same man who had professed his love for her was nothing more than a con artist, and she was determined to expose him. 30 minutes until showtime," the wedding coordinator called out, her cheerful voice cutting through Emma's thoughts. Emma took one last look at herself in the mirror, steeling her resolve. She was ready to confront the man who had betrayed her trust and her love. As she walked down the aisle, the church was filled with the soft strains of the string quartet playing the wedding march. Guests rose to their feet, their smiles bright and expectant. But Emma felt a different kind of energy coursing through her. This wasn't a wedding march. It was a countdown to destruction. 3 steps from the altar, she caught Jake's eye. He stood tall and handsome in his tuxedo, a confident smile plastered on his face. He had no idea what was about to unfold. Emma's heart raced, not with fear, but with the exhilaration of reclaiming her narrative. As she reached the altar, she turned to face the audience instead of Jake. The envelope felt heavy against her thigh, a tangible reminder of her purpose. "Before we begin," she said, her voice clear and unwavering, "I'd like to share some readings, not from the Bible, but from Jake's private emails." Gasps rippled through the congregation as she pulled out the first document. "My dearest Mark," she read, her voice steady. "Once the wedding secures the merger and Emma's connections are accessible, we can proceed with our original plan. She suspects nothing." The color drained from Jake's face as the murmurs grew louder. He stepped toward her, but she moved away, pulling out more papers. "But wait, there's more," she continued, her smile sharp. "Would anyone like to hear about the offshore accounts? Or perhaps the creative accounting at Thompson Enterprises. I have copies for everyone, including the SEC representatives who should be arriving right about now. At that moment, the church doors swung open, revealing two suited agents. Emma watched as Jake lunged for the papers, but she anticipated this. She let the documents scatter, watching them float down like toxic snowflakes, each one revealing another layer of his corruption. "Emma, please," Jake hissed, desperation creeping into his voice. "We can talk about this." "Talk?" she echoed, her voice rising above the chaos. "Talk like how you talked about me at your bachelor party? Just a stepping stone? Wasn't I good enough until you found someone better?" The guests were in shock, some recording the moment on their phones, others whispering in disbelief. Emma felt a surge of power as she faced Jake, the man who had once held her heart. "You saw me as nothing more than a means to an end," she declared, her voice unwavering. "But today, I'm taking back my story." As the SEC agents moved in, flanking the altar, Emma felt a sense of liberation wash over her. She had turned the tables on the man who thought he could control her life. The chaos around her faded into the background as she walked away from the altar, leaving behind the remnants of a life built on lies. Today was not just about revenge. It was about reclaiming her truth. The church erupted into chaos as the SEC agents approached Jake, who stood frozen in disbelief. Emma felt a rush of adrenaline as she walked down the aisle, her head held high. She could hear the whispers of the guests behind her, a mix of shock and awe. The weight of the envelope in her pocket felt lighter with each step she took away from the altar, away from the life she had almost committed to. Outside, the sun shone brightly, a stark contrast to the storm brewing inside the church. Emma took a deep breath, feeling the cool air fill her lungs. She had done it. She had exposed Jake for who he truly was, and in doing so, she had freed herself from the shackles of his deceit. As she stepped into the sunlight, a crowd of reporters awaited her, their cameras flashing like lightning. "Emma, Emma, can you tell us what happened in there?" one shouted, pushing forward. She turned to face them, her heart racing, but her expression calm. "I just took a stand for the truth," she said, her voice steady. "I won't let anyone use me as a stepping stone. I deserve better, and so does everyone else who has been manipulated by lies." The words flowed from her, fueled by the empowerment she felt after reclaiming her narrative. In the days that followed, the news of Jake's arrest spread like wildfire. Headlines screamed about the jilted bride who exposed corporate corruption, and Emma found herself at the center of a media storm. Interviews flooded in, and she was hailed as a hero for standing up against deceit in the business world. But amidst the chaos, she felt a sense of responsibility. This wasn't just about her. It was about everyone who had been wronged by someone they trusted. Emma decided to channel her newfound fame into something meaningful. She began working on a new fashion line, one that would focus on ethical practices and transparency in the industry. She wanted to create a brand that empowered women, not just in fashion, but in their lives. With Lily by her side, they brainstormed ideas, determined to build something beautiful from the ashes of betrayal. Meanwhile, Jake's downfall continued to unfold. As the investigation deepened, more evidence of his fraudulent activities came to light. Emma learned that he had been siphoning funds from his startup for months, using the money to fund lavish parties and personal investments. The company's reputation was in tatters, and many employees were left without jobs. Emma felt a pang of guilt for the collateral damage, but she reminded herself that Jake had made his choices. One evening, as Emma and Lily sat in their apartment, surrounded by sketches and fabric swatches, Lily looked up from her work. "Emma, you've turned this whole situation into something powerful. You're not just a victim. You're a force for change," she said, her voice filled with admiration. Emma smiled, feeling a warmth spread through her. "I couldn't have done it without you, Lily. You've always believed in me, even when I didn't believe in myself." They shared a moment of sisterly love, a bond that had only grown stronger through adversity. As the weeks turned into months, Emma's fashion line began to take shape. She launched a crowdfunding campaign to support her vision, and to her surprise, it gained traction. Women from all walks of life rallied behind her, sharing their own stories of betrayal and resilience. Emma realized that her experience resonated with many, and she felt a sense of purpose in helping others reclaim their narratives. One day, while reviewing designs for her first collection, Emma received a message from a former employee of Jake's company. The woman shared her story of how she had been manipulated and mistreated by Jake, and how Emma's courage had inspired her to stand up for herself. Tears filled Emma's eyes as she read the message. This was why she had fought so hard, to empower others to find their voices. As the launch date for her fashion line approached, Emma felt a mix of excitement and nerves. She had transformed her pain into purpose, and now it was time to share her vision with the world. The journey had been long and arduous, but she was ready to step into the spotlight once more, not as a jilted bride, but as a woman who had reclaimed her power and her truth. The day of the launch arrived, and Emma stood backstage, her heart pounding with anticipation. The venue was filled with bright lights, vibrant colors, and the buzz of excitement. This was not just a fashion show. It was a celebration of resilience, empowerment, and the strength of women who had faced betrayal and emerged stronger. As the first model stepped onto the runway, wearing a stunning dress made from sustainable materials, Emma felt a surge of pride. Each piece in her collection told a story. Stories of overcoming adversity, of standing up for oneself, and of embracing authenticity. The audience was captivated, and Emma could see the admiration in their eyes as they watched her vision come to life. Lily stood in the front row, beaming with pride. Emma caught her sister's eye and smiled, feeling a wave of gratitude wash over her. They had worked tirelessly to create this moment, and now it was finally here. The collection was not just about fashion, it was about making a statement that resonated with women everywhere. As the show progressed, Emma took a moment to reflect on how far she had come. Just months ago, she had been on the brink of marrying a man who had betrayed her trust. Now she was standing at the helm of a movement that celebrated truth and integrity. The applause from the audience echoed in her ears, a reminder that she was not alone in her. After the final model walked off the stage, Emma stepped forward to address the crowd. The lights dimmed, and a spotlight illuminated her figure. "Thank you all for being here today," she began, her voice steady but filled with emotion. "This collection is not just about clothing, it's about empowerment. It's about standing up for what is right and embracing our true selves." The audience erupted in applause, and Emma felt a rush of energy. "I want to dedicate this collection to every woman who has ever felt like they were not enough, who has been manipulated or betrayed. You are strong, you are worthy, and you deserve to be heard." As she spoke, Emma noticed a familiar face in the crowd. Alex, a fellow entrepreneur she had met during her journey. He had been supportive from the beginning, offering advice and encouragement as she navigated the challenges of launching her brand. Their connection had grown over shared values and mutual respect, and Emma felt a spark of something more. After the show, Emma mingled with guests, receiving compliments and praise for her work. She felt a sense of fulfillment that she had never experienced before. This was her moment, and she was ready to embrace it fully. As the evening progressed, Emma found herself standing next to Alex. "You are incredible out there," he said, his eyes shining with admiration. "You've turned your pain into something beautiful." "Thank you, Alex. It means a lot coming from you," Emma replied, feeling a warmth spread through her. They talked about their visions for the future, their shared passion for ethical business practices, and the importance of supporting one another in their endeavors. As the night drew to a close, Emma felt a sense of hope and possibility. She had transformed her life from one of betrayal to one of empowerment, and she was ready to continue this journey. With Alex by her side, she felt a renewed sense of purpose, knowing that together they could make a difference in the world. In the weeks that followed, Emma's fashion line gained traction, and she received invitations to speak at various events, about her journey and the importance of integrity in business. She became a sought-after speaker, sharing her story of resilience and inspiring others to stand up for themselves. Emma's life had taken a turn she never expected, but she embraced it wholeheartedly. She had turned her heartbreak into a powerful narrative, one that resonated with countless others, and as she looked toward the future, she knew that this was just the beginning of a beautiful new chapter. As the months rolled on, Emma's fashion line continued to flourish, gaining recognition not just for its stunning designs, but also for its commitment to ethical practices. She had built a brand that resonated with women who valued integrity and empowerment, and her story became a beacon of hope for many. With each successful collection launch, Emma felt more confident in her abilities as a designer and entrepreneur. She was invited to participate in panels and discussions about women in business, where she shared her journey and the lessons she had learned. Her voice became a powerful tool for advocacy, and she used it to encourage others to embrace their authenticity and stand up against deceit. One evening, after a particularly inspiring panel discussion, Emma received a message from Alex. "Hey, I loved your talk today. You were amazing. Let's celebrate your success over dinner." Emma smiled at the message, feeling a flutter of excitement. She had enjoyed their conversations and the connection they had built. "I'd love that. How about tomorrow?" she replied, her heart racing at the thought of spending more time with him. Next evening, they met at a cozy restaurant downtown, the ambiance warm and inviting. As they settled into their seats, Emma felt a sense of ease wash over her. They talked about everything: fashion, business, and their shared passion for making a difference. Alex listened intently, his eyes sparkling with interest as Emma recounted her journey from heartbreak to empowerment. "You've really turned your life around, Emma," he said, leaning in. "It's inspiring to see how you've channeled your experiences into something so positive. You're not just a designer, you're a role model." Emma felt a blush creep to her cheeks. "Thank you, Alex. I couldn't have done it without the support of people like you. You believed in me when I was still figuring things out." As the evening progressed, their conversation deepened, and Emma found herself opening up about her fears and aspirations. "Sometimes I still worry about trusting people again," she admitted, her voice softening. "After everything with Jake, it's hard to let my guard down." Alex nodded, his expression understanding. "I get that. Trust takes time, especially after a betrayal, but I believe that the right people will show you that it's worth it. You deserve to be surrounded by those who uplift you." Emma felt a warmth in his words, a sense of safety that she hadn't felt in a long time. As they finished their meal, Alex reached across the table, taking her hand in his. "I want you to know that I'm here for you, Emma, not just as a business partner, but as a friend. And if you're open to it, I'd love to explore something more." Her heart raced at his admission. Emma had felt a connection with Alex, a spark that had grown with each conversation. "I'd like that too," she replied, her voice steady. "I've been so focused on rebuilding my life that I didn't realize how much I missed having someone by my side." As they left the restaurant, the night air was crisp and refreshing. They walked side by side, their hands still intertwined, and Emma felt a sense of hope blooming within her. This was a new beginning, not just for her career, but for her personal life as well. In the following weeks, Emma and Alex spent more time together, collaborating on projects and exploring their budding relationship. They attended industry events, supported each other's endeavors, and shared their dreams for the future. Emma felt a sense of balance in her life that she hadn't experienced before, a harmony between her professional ambitions and personal happiness. One afternoon, while brainstorming ideas for a new collection, Emma turned to Alex. "What if we created a line that specifically highlights stories of resilience? Each piece could represent a different woman's journey, celebrating their strength and courage." Alex's eyes lit up with excitement. "That's a brilliant idea. We could partner with organizations that support women and donate a portion of the proceeds to help them. It would be a powerful way to give back." Emma felt a surge of inspiration. This was more than just a fashion line, it was a movement. Together, they could amplify the voices of women who had faced adversity and help them reclaim their narratives. As they worked on the new collection, Emma felt a renewed sense of purpose. She had transformed her pain into empowerment, and now she was ready to help others do the same. With Alex by her side, she knew that they could create something truly special, something that would inspire and uplift women everywhere. And as she looked toward the future, Emma felt a sense of excitement and possibility. This was just the beginning of a beautiful journey, one filled with love, resilience, and the unwavering belief that together they could change the world. The day of the new collection launch arrived, and Emma could hardly contain her excitement. The venue was transformed into a vibrant space that reflected the essence of the collection, bold, colorful, and filled with stories waiting to be told. Each garment was designed to embody the strength and resilience of women from all walks of life, and Emma felt a deep sense of pride as she prepared to unveil it to the world. As guests began to arrive, Emma and Alex moved through the crowd, greeting supporters, friends, and fellow designers. The atmosphere buzzed with anticipation, and Emma could see the excitement in the eyes of those who had come to witness the launch. She had invited women whose stories inspired the collection, and they were all present, ready to celebrate their journeys. "Are you ready for this?" Alex asked, his voice low as they stood backstage, peering out at the audience. Emma nodded, her heart racing. "I've never been more ready. This is about so much more than just fashion, it's about empowerment and community." As the lights dimmed and the music began to play, Emma took a deep breath, feeling the energy of the crowd wash over her. The first model stepped onto the runway, wearing a stunning dress adorned with intricate patterns that told the story of a woman who had overcome domestic abuse. The audience erupted into applause, and Emma felt a surge of emotion. This was the moment she had envisioned, a celebration of strength and resilience. With each model that walked the runway, Emma shared snippets of the stories behind the garments. There was the jacket, inspired by a woman who had fought against workplace discrimination, and the flowing gown that represented a survivor of cancer. Each piece was a testament to the power of women supporting one another, and the audience was captivated. As the final model took her turn on the runway, wearing a breathtaking gown that symbolized unity and hope, Emma stepped forward to address the crowd. The applause echoed in her ears, and she felt a wave of gratitude wash over her. "Thank you all for being here today," she began, her voice steady. "This collection is not just about fashion. It's about celebrating the stories of incredible women who have faced adversity and emerged stronger. Together, we can create a world where every woman feels empowered to share her truth." The audience erupted into cheers, and Emma felt tears prick at the corners of her eyes. This was more than just a launch, it was a movement. She had turned her pain into purpose, and now she was helping others do the same. After the show, Emma and Alex mingled with guests, receiving congratulations and praise for their work. Women approached Emma, sharing their own stories of resilience and how the collection had inspired them. Emma listened intently, her heart swelling with pride. This was what she had hoped for, a community of women coming together to uplift one another. As the evening wore on, Emma found herself standing next to one of the women whose story had inspired a piece in the collection. "Your dress changed my life," the woman said, her voice filled with emotion. "I wore it to a job interview, and I felt like I could conquer the world. Thank you for giving me the strength to believe in myself again." Emma felt a lump in her throat as she hugged the woman tightly. "You are incredible, and I'm so proud of you. Your story deserves to be heard, and I'm honored to have been a part of your journey." As the night came to a close, Emma and Alex stepped outside, the cool night air refreshing after the warmth of the venue. They walked hand in hand, the stars twinkling above them. "I can't believe how well it went," Emma said, her voice filled with excitement. "This is just the beginning, Alex. We have so much more to do." "I know," he replied, his eyes shining with enthusiasm. "We can expand this movement, reach more women, and create even more impactful stories. Together, we can change lives." Emma smiled, feeling a sense of hope and possibility. With Alex by her side, She knew they could make a difference. They had built something beautiful together, and the journey ahead was filled with promise. As they walked through the city, Emma felt a renewed sense of purpose. She had transformed her life from one of betrayal to one of empowerment, and now she was ready to help others reclaim their narratives. The future was bright, and she was excited to see where this journey would take her. Together, they would continue to inspire, uplift, and empower women everywhere, proving that resilience and strength could shine through even the darkest of times.